all new. AM1150 WTMP.com.
All right, here we go. All righty. All right. I was missing in action last week. I had some stuff to do. Primarily, I had a task that was something that I had not ever thought about having to do, but my mother-in-law passed, and last week was the funeral, and being one of the pallbearers. Felt honored to be part of it, but hopefully always wishing that it was, something else or some other reason, you do it. But everybody's gonna have their day. That time's gonna come. You don't look forward to it, but my wife took it very well, and whatever happens with her happens with me. So yes. When you love somebody, again, you hate to see somebody go through it, but there's nothing you could do about it. So you try to make it as good, as nice, as clean, as possible. And as black people, we have too many family reunions because of death. That's the reason that brings us together more often than anything else. It's not a good occasion, not a happy occasion. And a few years ago, my family, said, well, we got to get together other than just funerals. We start having family reunions. So I heard some of the show, and the guys did a good job,
of course,
as I expected, and
knew
it would happen, and everybody showed up. Nobody played hooky but me. So
I was late, but I apologize. I was tardy.
Yeah, we're gonna dock him for that too.
Okay. I want his share.
So tell your mama the elephants are back on air again. Full force, ready to do what we do. A couple things happened over the last week that I gotta talk about before I get started here. They tried to burn down the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Been around for hundreds of years. It took them 100 years to build it. Now the news came out. Well, they was in the process of doing some restoration on the church. The church is several hundred years old. Now some folks got their equipment there trying to restore the church and end up burning it down. Boy, you want to talk about making sure you got a job. You want to make sure you trying to do a couple of $1,000s of restoration. Now they're trying to raise billions of dollars to make sure that it's there in 5 years.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get that contract again.
No, they probably all the scaffolding burned down.
Yeah.
All the they supposed to have the crown that was on Jesus Christ's head. So that's what the Cathedral of Notre Dame says is their relic, and it's supposed to have a piece of the cross that Jesus was on. So of course those were saved. Matter of fact, I saw pictures of people running in front of the building but burning down, trying to make sure the relics were saved. So
that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
Really, it's about relics.
Yeah.
And even though the fuss about it is, I thought about this as it was happening. It seems almost silly. It's a building. It's an old building. It's cool. It's Gothic. It's historical. But it's really just a building.
Well, now they got a contest to rebuild the spire, the big part of it that fell down and was all wooden and everything. So they got an international contest. And as an architect, I started to send my little design in, but I
Why not?
figured, what the hell, and we know the size of the building because it was one of those buildings I studied when I was in school. We actually went in the parking lot and drew it on the ground, so you know how big it is, and I've been in it too. And the other thing that happened over the last week, and then I'm gonna get the show started, but this is stuff I just had more to talk about before we started the show. Tiger Woods I'm glad I was home by myself.
So
I
you
am.
cheer and hop up and down?
Yeah.
I am, but, you know, because I'm a racist, and I'm telling everybody that right now, get it out there out front, you know, that I'm a racist. So the fact that golf ain't been the same, and he ain't won that match for 14 years, and don't let nobody fool you. That butt whooping he took from that woman with that driver, who whooped his butt so bad he couldn't drive out the driveway. He couldn't drive out the driveway. He ended up hitting the fire extinguisher, you know, that's on the side of the road. You know, he hit that thing getting out the yard with that car. He couldn't get away from her fast enough. He ain't won nothing since then. So he's been coming back this whole time. And when he went and hugged this kid, you know, the son jumped up in his arm. And so I remember when he first won, and that was his dad. And everybody talking about, well, he hugged his dad, and he was so appreciative and all this other stuff, you know. So it was 14-year turnaround to get back to the way it was.
It was a great moment, and you keep talking about the supermodel with a golf club. I think it had to do with the steroids and
his girlfriend got some color now. She ain't black, but she got some color, so she ain't got blonde hair and blue eyes.
And and all those surgeries. So, but it was nice seeing him come back. And, and you're right. Golf needs Tiger Woods. Golf ain't got.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, golf got some great golfers now.
Yeah.
But they don't have any PR like Tiger Woods. They don't have any drama. Like boxing has some great boxers. But boxing hasn't been the same since Muhammad Ali for the very same reason.
Right, same thing.
They've got no personality.
Right.
They got no one to represent the sport very well.
Yeah, and if you look at it, you think about that was the beginning. If he don't win another tournament, he don't win another golfing anything, he's still gonna be okay because you know that winning that Masters was enough to get him a couple of major sponsorships that'll last him another 5-10 years. You know, as long as he don't screw it up, you know, which is what he had done, you know, kind of hanging out, you know, with the Perkins waitress, you know, at the garbage can behind the stove.
Go home, win your tournament,
You know?
rent a car, and take your Asian butt home.
Yeah. Well, think about this. His ex-wife is on an island that he bought, living in a castle that he's bought, spending the money with another man, spending his money with another man. So, but the good thing about that, you know, you can always make money if you got talent. See, the way he came back, because he made, what, $10-12 million by winning the Masters? Well, hell, you can start. That's a pretty damn good start. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
you can be in the ditch, but you make $12 million, you go buy the whole road that the ditch is on. You buy 12 miles of ditch road and do what the hell you want with it. You see what I'm saying?
He's been making money all along. He just hasn't been winning major tournaments. And in golf, people have good careers and never win a major.
Be millionaires.
Millionaires, living well, never win a major tournament. As long as you're paying, as long as you got your card and you're playing well and you make the cut, more than you don't make the cut, you can make a living. Now it's still hard work.
Yeah. Well, Jack Nicklaus was out on his boat, and he came in to make a comment on Tiger winning the Masters. So that makes a statement there too.
Yeah.
See, because Jack had kind of pretty much thought, okay, I got it forever. All I got to do is die comfortably. Well, now Tiger back on his butt. Because Tiger wins another couple of majors, and he'll take Jack and become the best golfer of all time. Because it's a debate now, who's the best of all time. But Tiger's still alive. He's only 40-something.
It's sort of the Michael versus Kobe thing. In golf.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a lot more boring.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we're gonna officially get the show started, and we got a guest here. We got one of my favorite people on the planet. And when I called her and said, we're gonna talk about this mayoral election thing here, she quickly agreed to come. So I'm kind of treating her like a guest, like not like a regular guest, but like one like the permanent guest, because she's on here whenever I need her. I call her and she comes. So I'm taking it that she's not a a regular guest. She's a super guest.
No offense taken there, Willie.
Special guest. Willie's here every week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more you come, the less they care. Be careful.
Like an employer.
The more you come, the less they care.
Just like an employer.
Okay, let me go ahead and get the information out.
Moving along.
Porch Talk Radio. We're here. We're having too much fun. You know, the show's just beginning. So if you want to call this show, call-in number for the show is 813-251-9867. Now, the other shows give the number all show. We're going to give it to you at the beginning of the show. If you don't write it down, then you won't have it because you have to look it up or do something
busy.
else. Yeah, well, we do it every week. So if you're a regular listener, you know it. And most of the people, you know, call the show. They got it in their phone. You know, they plan on calling. If you ain't ever planned on calling before, then don't wait for us to give you the number again during this show to try to call. I'm just telling you. So, anyway, 813-251-9867. Now, if you want to call me, Eddie Adams Jr., the super host here, that makes stuff happen, you know.
Super host?
Yeah, well,
Where'd that come from?
Well, my host status went up, you know, the week that I wasn't here. You know, I had time to think about it, and all the people who listen to the show, and all the calls that I got, people wanting to know, you know.
Did we fire you?
He is suddenly the Tiger Woods of TMP.
Yeah, so, you know, got number one rated show, you know.
How'd that work?
Between us and the show that come on before us, we got the whole afternoon, a whole day of showing. You know, we got number one, number two show, so we make some stuff happen. And people listen to us. That's why I brought Miss Connie Burton on today, because we only got one more show before the election. And we don't need just for black folks to show up at the election. We need you to go by and get somebody. Go by and get your friend, you know, go by and pick up an enemy, you know, go by and pick up somebody, because it's important. Don't vote by yourself. Go get somebody, because it's important that when you go vote Tuesday, or you go vote whenever you can vote again, you know, that you make this today or whenever, you know, take somebody with you, because this is important for black folks. I'm telling you, white folks, no matter who win, they're going to be okay. You got to have somebody in a powerful place like the mayoral office. If you can put somebody there that's going to look out for you, at least see you, at least hear some of your complaints, it's going to be important. So anyway, let me kind of give you the rest of the info. If Eddie Adams' cell phone number, 813-230
Start dialing right
3312.
Save
now.
it.
Everyone in the Tampa area.
813. Now they're supposed to be whispering into the mic to tell folks to call.
Call now.
813
Call consistently.
230
Anytime during the show.
3312. All right. Sponsors. Todd Jones. Todd Jones been with us since the beginning. Todd is a great property appraiser, most credentialed property appraiser in the state of Florida.
Great guy.
Great guy. Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee. Went to the meeting the other night. Tampa Bay, you got some changes coming. You know, Republicans getting involved. Republicans meeting with the folks at the NAACP. I know the NAACP is pretty much, you know, black folks being Democratic, you know, but the organization itself is supposed to be independent. So they can meet with the Democrats, they can meet with the Republicans, but the Republican Party is getting involved with this community. So look forward to that over the next year or so. That came directly from the chairman. Sponsor, John Desbrow. All your printing needs, print fast. He got a car lot over there. He sold 2 cars in this studio right here. So all your car needs and your printing needs, go see John Desbrow, 813-621-9444. 813-621-9444. Okay. Kind of talked about Tiger Woods a little bit. Kind of talked about Notre Dame. You know, I'm going to tell you something. That church could have burnt down to the blocks. I'm telling you, it could have been 4 blocks left. I'm going to tell you, they're going to build it because that church is one of the favorite church of the Catholic system. Mm-hmm. And it's been around for a long time. And if the Pope would have got over there and had to put on, some jeans and lay a couple of blocks himself, that church was going to get rebuilt. It was that important. And from what I was told is that the church is not owned by the church. It's actually owned by the whole country of France owns that church. Now, there's a bunch of churches over there, but the country owns that one. So it's going to get rebuilt.
It is, I don't know. Here's the deal. The deal is that there isn't a more wealthy system in the world than the Catholic Church.
Of anything.
So-
of any kind of business in any country.
So how come Disney sent $5 million to the GoFundMe account or wherever they're taking this money? I'm not sure where it's going.
Yeah.
They sent $1 million to the Panhandle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They sent 5 times as much money to France
Yeah.
to rebuild Notre Dame. To the people who need it the least amount. I'm sorry. You know what? I ain't hating on my Catholic friends. I ain't hating on y'all. But y'all know the truth is that ain't nobody got more money than the Catholic Church.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It ain't Beulah Baptist for sure. And y'all got some money, but y'all ain't got Catholic Church money. Y'all just don't.
And the thing that's so funny about it, they said that the Catholic Church has so much money that they don't know where it all comes from and they don't know where it all goes. Because you got to take into consideration every country on the planet has a Catholic church.
They own a
so they got some kind of regional
They own a
something,
country.
and they
Yeah, they do.
and they all send
Right.
money
Vatican is its own little sovereign.
to Rome. They all send money to Rome.
Vatican City is its own sovereign nation. They own
Yeah,
a country.
yeah. They got their own little army.
So they use the Swedish card. They could probably do this without a GoFundMe account.
Yeah, they could.
So it doesn't make any sense to
They
me
wanted
that
to identify with the
billions
with
of
the
dollars are
forces.
flowing in
Yeah, every day.
to rebuild this, and no one knows where any of that money's going.
It's just coming.
No one knows where it's going because, like you said, is it going to the state? In France, is it going to the Pope?
Yeah.
I mean, is the Pope checking his email every 3 hours? Oh, another $3 billion.
Cash App.
Another $3
Cash
billion.
App.
Yeah.
Going with cash.
The thing about it,
Modern days.
thing about it is, to ye who has everything, they
It's
always
all the rest?
get more. They always get
It's
more.
all the rest.
They always get more. That person living in the ditch,
All right.
literally with their face down in the ditch, can't get no help.
Can't get no help.
Can't get no help. All feces covered and everything out
But
there.
the Catholic Church
In San
has no
Francisco,
money.
in San Francisco, in the ditch, can't get no help. But let the richest institution in the world
On the planet.
need something.
And there they go.
There you go. There you
Because
go.
people want to be tied to things
Yeah.
and not
Oh yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
don't want to help solve the problems
Yeah. Oh yeah.
of suffering.
Seems crazy to me.
Which
It
brings
just seems crazy to me.
it brings us to the topic of the day. And this topic is dear and near to my heart because I really don't understand it. And I don't understand some black folks. I'm telling you, I already told you I'm prejudiced, so I say here right on the radio for anybody listening, I am concerned about the black community. We have always been our own worst enemy. We are. Anytime you want to find problems in the black community, black neighborhood, look at the black community first. You start there and then you look everywhere else. I'm just saying that's just how I feel about it, and I don't mind saying it. Okay, David Strass is not a politician. He don't have a political record. His biggest problem is he's a billionaire. He's got a shitload of money, and I mean shitloads. I'm not saying it on the radio, so I'm sorry. But he got a bunch of money, and I hear people don't like it because he's got a bunch of money. He's actually paying all his workers, to actually work for him. I mean, almost, I'm gonna tell you like the 95% of the candidates out there, they got volunteers, people working for free. David Strass has said he gonna pay everybody that's working for him. He's paying them. So there's some people that have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying? When you got a problem with somebody getting paid for an honest day's work, no matter what it is, because that whole $15 an hour thing is a whole thing about, okay, you ain't worth $15 an hour. I can sweep somebody's floor for $15 an hour if they'll pay me $15 an hour to do it. That don't make the job worth $15 an hour. You see what I'm saying?
Walmart has begun to increase their wages as well, but also Walmart introduced 2 weeks ago, they had 5,000 robots being put out into their stores. Now, it's not gonna help their service, cause it stinks anyway, but they're gonna have 5,000 robots up and down the aisles. People wanna check their price, you just call it and it'll come over to you.
Oh,
and
great.
You scan it and it'll tell you the price right there.
Something
It can
else-
even ring you up right there.
Something else in
So-
Walmart that'll be broken.
Right, so at this point, Walmart has taken the other side of, oh, you want to increase wages? Oh, no problem.
Less workers.
Yeah.
We know at the end of the day,
Bottom line.
nobody is gonna hire a bunch of people, pay them money that will not make money for them. That's not a
business,
real
right?
capitalist system.
No, it's not.
Capitalist system, you know, and nowadays you got a lot of millennials that don't like it because they mama and they daddy worked their whole life for them to have everything,
Support them.
and they don't like it. I'm still trying to figure that one out. See, because I remember when I was 8 years old, I was under the fruit tree, and my mama was up on a ladder dropping oranges down. You see what I'm saying? So I've been working all my young,
Yeah,
youthful life,
construction
my
work.
adult life, you know, never had to understand, you know, how it is when somebody, all they gotta do is say, I want something, and somebody show up with it. See, that's never been me. So anyway, we started talking about David Stroud, talking about somebody with money. Well, under Jane Castor, and I've heard a lot of debates, and I heard a lot of stuff that's been going on, and that's kind of why I bought help in the studio, because I wanted to get somebody that's on a trend. You know, they're on a winning trend, and their opinion means a lot to this community. And I just want you to know and you to understand, you know, I'm not getting paid by David Stratton. I'm not on the payroll. He's not paying me anything to say or do. Now, I am supporting David Stratton, because I said that last year. You know, I've been saying that because of the two. I absolutely, honestly understand that he care and will do better by this community than Jane Castor. Because being chief of police for the city of Tampa, she's had an opportunity. Kind of like golf is a game of integrity. And integrity is what you do when you think nobody's looking, nobody's watching. You know, do you do the right thing, or do you cheat a little bit? You know, she's had several opportunities. And I'm going to tell you a situation, and some of you guys forget and forgive and all that kind of stuff. But there's a story of a black male not committing the crime, but not following police orders and instructions quickly enough because he was sick. And to be beat to death on the city streets by police officers because you're not responding because you're sick. But even though I'm gonna put it out there, maybe they didn't know he was sick, but you beat somebody to death because they're not saying and doing what you need to be done fast enough. That happened under her watch. So you can forgive her for a bunch of stuff. But I truly believe that if your officers understand that you can't just beat somebody to death, and that you're gonna have hell to pay when you get back in, you know, when you sign back up or clock back into the headquarters, you know, somebody, you know, and at some point in the process, there's gonna be some kind of pay. You gotta go to jail. You gotta have something happen to you. Go through some process where you at least get reprimanded or something, you know. But that's not the case. I know we got a call, but I'm gonna get this thought out. And when that happened, the whole community, you know, things like that usually traditionally bring us together as a community. Nobody has brought that up, you know. I mean, people still talking about Rodney King, and they beat that guy, you know, and 5 were beating him and 2 were standing around watching that whole process. But at the end of the day, they didn't beat him to death on the city street. You see what I'm saying? All right, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. This Saturday afternoon. What say you? Hello?
Hold up.
Okay, all right. Oh, we still got the caller online? Okay, all right. Connie, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. I wanted to get that out, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about Jan Casper because I know she's going to be more the same, kind of like Bob Buckhorn version 2, 2.0, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, thank you so very much for giving me the invite to come in, Eddie. And I just want to say, I have to disagree that we are our own worst enemy. I know we have problems inside of our community because we are part of that community, and the constant struggle of trying to move forward and push stuff out the way and try to get to the truth of the matter keep us in a state of confusion all the time. I never forget when I was a young girl, and people used to hold up certain individuals in our community if they was in certain stabilized families, if they had somewhat wealth in our community, if they went to college. We held them up, following the theory of W.E.D. Du Bois,
Right.
of the talented 10.
Right.
Knowing that those person that had the best information would do good by their people. And so what we have seen morphed into our community, in my opinion, is the lack of stabilization that class have, that went off to school, that was able to do, wonderful things, secure good employment, start their own business. What we see is that they become the mouthpiece.
Yes, they do.
They become the mouthpiece, they have become the mouthpiece, and we've become their subject.
Yeah.
Poor people.
Yes.
Poor people is the pawn for this group of black middle class people to have this little semblance of being at the table.
All right.
And while they're at the table, in most of the times, they are not to do the bidding for the community.
Nope.
They're there for self-interest.
Gatekeepers.
And we can see it constantly over and over and over again, that we say, yes, they're at the table, and we look back and see what it has been the benefit for our people.
Right.
And so this constant confusion that exists amongst poor people is always looking for leadership. Who would lead us? They're at the table. We got a ton of churches in our community. Every block sit about 4 of them in East Tampa.
4 of them on the corner.
On one corner.
Sometimes.
And so we would say that they would be shepherding the flock in a better way.
Right.
That they will hold our community. We would look at how some high-profile cases with young white privileged young people,
Yep.
their parents, their neighborhood is never condemned. If black folks can see dollars and grants that can generate income for them to start talking about the young black youth with sagging pants,
Yep.
they're all on board with it.
Yeah.
And so we have been abandoned.
Yep.
Our community has been abandoned. We don't have truth tellers in our community. We don't have people in our community that want to hold folks accountable. And so when we get down to this thing called the election process, people have just lost confidence.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
They have really lost confidence, like who would be the best candidate to shepherd our community and move us forward. Now this is how I come to my conclusion. If you've had some tendency or some workmanship, if you've been employed in a high profile place, in employment, in a leadership capacity, that's my basis of examining and evaluating, because if you are working in government, you're supposed to be a servant of the people, right?
All the people.
And so I am the
All
employee.
the taxpayers.
I'm the employee.
That's right.
You the employer,
Right.
right?
Right.
I should be able to say, up under your watch, how do I evaluate your leadership?
That's right.
And I could tell you, living in public housing, that I was proud. That was what my income could afford. I lived in a vibrant community as a child in College Hill. I don't run away from it because I learned some good, valuable lessons.
Yep.
I raised my children in and around public housing, Rovers Park. And I could tell you, I could see the vast difference. I could see the difference when the abandonment of those that had that wealth was able to leave. And now we have a ton of poor people there trying to figure it out all by themselves.
That's right.
And then what happened is that we became up under this occupation of social injustice.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody can write a grant. People can use the demographics. People can talk about the disparity and get a ton of money. And then we look for this money to come and help solve the problem.
Nope.
It is not there.
Ain't coming.
It ain't coming. And so what we got as a result of it is a community that was contained with on social issues, and now the very person that's on top of the ticket, this is a nonpartisan race.
That's right.
It don't matter to me if she had all the money and he didn't have all the money, but the fact that I've been able to watch her
That's right.
in terms of her leadership and how her leadership had a direct impact against our community is what I know would be detrimental to our community. And I am just absolutely appalled. But I'm not surprised
Right.
when I see all of those honorable mentions of individuals that could never heed the cry of the people can be in this basket of support. But when the people is making a cry and asking for assistance, whether it be employment, social justice, ending mass incarceration, helping with the education of our children, ending the high double-digit unemployment that we see in our community, we can't get to them.
Right.
They're not available to us.
And see, the other thing, Connie, is everybody kind of came to grips with different people in this whole process, because I knew Jane Castor had opportunity to do some good things in our community, and every now and then give somebody an opportunity that may not have been there had it been somebody else as the chief of police. I've not seen, now I ain't saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying I didn't see it. Now, how I met David Straz was, I was talking all last year about a black bank. And I came to know David Straz reached out to me. And we had several meetings about the black bank. And then, see, now he's more on trying to get elected mayor. You know, so I let the black bank go on hold while he gets elected mayor. And then I made a commitment to him that I would try to help him get elected to mayor, because I think that's something we need. We need our own financial institution. And if you heard this show before, you heard me talking about we need to get our own financial institution. We got too much money within our community to not have any charge of it. So that's kind of how I got involved. Now, as looking out for the community, looking at the two, not having anything against David Straz, because David Straz has not been looking, well, what has he done? He has not done anything for us. He hasn't done anything more than any other billionaire has done for us in this community. Matter of fact, last time I counted, we probably got about 30 billionaires. A lot of them you don't know, but at the end of the day, none of them did nothing for our communities. So.
But I always been told, be mindful by the company that you keep. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, Bob Buckhorn
Yep, that's a good
has just thrown itself out as if this would be a third term for him.
Yeah, it is going to be.
That if, the continuation of his policy, well, the continuation of his policy has meant mass gentrification for the black community.
Right.
Has been a lack of social and economic development for our community. You can throw 10 houses toward a nonprofit. You can come downtown and give them a proclamation or two.
Right.
But the masses of the people have not been able to advance. What we know for a certainty, and what I know for a certainty, is that up under the leadership of Jane Castor as the police, it meant detrimental harm to our community as it relates to criminalization. So you can talk about having a safe neighborhood
Right.
all you want.
Right.
But then if you're over policing,
That's right.
if you have the police on top of the people 24/7, 7 days a week, ain't nobody call them, but they're there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're gonna find something. You're gonna find some young men sitting on top of a milk crate
Yep.
and be able to snatch that crate from up under them and charge them with theft of property, and they going to jail.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to say to those very young people that don't have no other place to go because that's their
Hang
home.
out, that they hang out. Right?
That's where it was reared.
Right.
That's where, if you go back and look at any document where they went to school, it was from those addresses.
That's right.
And then you be engaged with a campaign of trespass. And so all these arrests start occurring up under her watch. And people hold that up as part of, quote unquote, keeping Tampa safe. No, that means keeping black people contained.
And because in a neighborhood other than ours, it all means the same thing. Because if you look at the votership, everybody, oh, she could have won the first time. No, she didn't. She got 48 damn percent. 48% ain't 50. It ain't 50% plus 1. That's why we got a damn election coming Tuesday.
Well, you know what? I just, part of this education that should be happening of knowing who our allies are. Who our allies are. And all of these folks that call themselves to be progressive can, have short-term memory.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that Viking while black is just a small piece. Because from the top, the leadership will know how to conduct themselves in the field. We want to talk about, the mistreatment and the mass incarceration that occurs. Mark Ober would have never been able to prosecute so many young juveniles, and Hillsborough County was #1 in the nation adjudicating juveniles into the adult system if they'd been arrested first.
Right.
Okay? And so we talk about walking while black, biking while black, and people say, well, oh, she apologized, but can we talk about the damage?
And I'm gonna tell you something else that happened too. And I'm not. I'm gonna say it, and then you guys can judge me by whatever the hell. When those cops got killed, they took a whole modern 20th century black neighborhood. I mean, I kind of thought just riding by. I live in Tampa. I kind of thought, we had been flashing back to the 50s or the 20s or some other time, because they literally took whole communities of black folks, innocent, and they give a damn whether you were innocent or not, and treated all you the same.
Didn't need no search warrant. All democratic processes was thrown out the window. We come to find out, and we're talking about Dante Morris,
yeah.
And we come to find out, based on the later reporting, that perhaps he was a serial killer. Maybe that he had killed 4 or 5 other
right.
African male,
right.
But that wasn't important enough to alert the community in terms of I need to be safe.
That's right.
Only until the officers was killed, then we started hearing all of this other information. And let me just say this. I have never seen such hate, and this is how I describe it, because we used to talk about, there's a difference between white-collar crime and regular crime black folks do, right?
Right.
And so white-collar crime would be that electronic stuff that folks would be always involved in, and we would never know the cost it was to the taxpayers or whomever, right? Well, when we had this thing going on in Tampa where young people was involved in electronic stealing, Jane Castor overtook her role as being a police chief. She said that, I'll never forget reading this article that says that she felt something was going on because there was no arrest from low-level, street-level crime. Right? So the perception was, to me, is that you always suspect our people to be out on the corner.
We ain't arresting enough black folks, so what's going on?
Exactly.
It's something happening in the hood, we just ain't found out about it yet.
There are way too many new cars.
Yeah, and the numbers ain't up because tick, part of the evaluation, they got to make all these arrests.
Right.
And the fact that she went into the federal division backwards and forth to Washington, D.C. to ensure that some of these young ladies ended up with 24 years sentencing.
Oh, yeah.
I just met a lady, a white woman from Miami, nice woman. She did 30 months in the federal penitentiary, and she owed the feds, she owed the United States Treasury $54 million.
Wow.
But she home. She's home.
All right.
She did 30 months. Some of these young girls will never come home to see their children. And this is what I'm saying. All of this is detrimental to our community. No, we don't say be soft on crime, but the same type of justice they receive over there in West Shore is the same type of justice we have been longing for in our community.
All right, we got a caller.
Okay.
All right, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. I know the conversation is hot and heavy, and we ain't saying a whole bunch of good stuff about Jane Castor, but this is our show, so this is what we want to do today. So welcome. What say you today?
Thank you. Ms. Connie, I trust your judgment. So I'd like to know what you think about that black agenda.
Well, I believe it's like it said, it's fluid. We got to keep on working it. We got to keep working it. And we got to make sure that we're on the table, at the table. We got to make sure that we're at the table. What I know, there's a serious problem in our community because those that came out and endorsed it has thrown their hat behind a, Jane Castor's candidate. Is the problem that people are having with the agenda. But the agenda itself is something, is the document that we can start working from.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you something else about the agenda, and I know Willie's waiting to get in here. Is part of the whole process is when you're begging somebody to listen to me and begging somebody to look at that and see, as a community, we have too much money. We got too many people. And we 26% of this community. We should not be in a position where we are constantly begging, white folks and begging administrators, to look at and treat. We should not have to beg somebody to treat you right. See, when you beg somebody to say, well, treat me right, be fair. See, that's the conversation I personally have not had. Because if I need to talk to somebody, I go talk to Jeff Akins, superintendent of Hillsborough County School. I go talk to, Joe at the airport. I go talk to the chairman of the school board, or I go talk to somebody who makes decisions. Because the waiting and going the long way around sometimes takes too long. It's too many people. Where you could go get an appointment with one person, have a conversation, and make a decision. And that person can make a decision. That person can change 400 lives while you're trying to get in line to go talk to somebody. That is stupid. That's the stupid part about the system.
Well, I think Connie, you had the solution to that because you said that these people who are in public service, they actually work for you. And I think a lot of times that a lot of people, not just black folks, just a lot of citizens forget that. These people get hyper self-important.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can't somehow, like you said, now you can't reach them. Now you can't get a phone call. Now you can't get an email returned. When the fact of the matter is that they work for you, and they work for people who live in South Tampa. They work for people who live on Palmetto Lane. They work for people who live on 22nd and Lake. They work for all y'all.
Yes.
They work for all of us. And as long as we remember that, we should be able to do exactly what Eddie's saying. We should be able to make that phone call, get that appointment.
Yeah.
And because that money that you spend when you went to the store, it goes to them. And more every day.
I don't care at this point if she becomes the mayor. I ain't going away.
Yeah.
I ain't going away.
I ain't moving out.
Nothing here changes.
I plan on still
Yeah.
attending
Yeah.
the city council meeting.
Yeah.
I'm still planning on making the demand and not the beg
Right. Yeah.
for real change in our community. And I could just tell you this, it won't be a smooth, easy 4 years to say no all the time.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we're in a different space.
And I'm gonna say something, and this is not politically correct. Y'all got some new Negroes up in here. Y'all got some Negroes who ain't shuffling and doing the old, head down. And every time I look at white folks, I don't care if they taller than me. I look them right in the eye, and I say what I'm gonna say. And half of the time I ain't asking them for stuff. I'm telling them stuff, or I'm giving them information, or I'm making a request in such a way that it ain't really a request. This is something you need to do. And anybody who know me, anybody who's seen me in action, I sit on a bunch of boards and I act the same all the time. So that is me. It is my nature. Because one thing about people who need stuff, they treat you like you need stuff. When you walk in there and say, I don't need nothing, I got a job, I got a house, I got a car, I got the basic necessity. What I'm doing now is trying to look at you and work with you as a human being, and more often than not, the things that I'm trying to do is for the black community. See, it's not for me personally.
Connie, if I could go back, you follow Eddie's lead. Eddie takes off down a rabbit trail, and we're on the road in the truck trying to find out where the heck he went. There's a complex that's being built by the grant writers and the like that you talked about. This is sort of this poverty I don't know the term for it, but this poverty grant sort of complex that gets built, and everybody who can get a grant gets a grant. They get the grant funded,
Yep.
and most of the money goes to the administration of whatever they were supposed to be doing,
Right.
and it never gets to the people that they are purporting to help, and that becomes that sort of intermediary layer, and sorry, black folk for the most part, that we're supposed to be looking to for help and looking to for leadership and looking to for guidance, part of the whole talented 10th thing. But what they have not done, it seems to me, is that they have forgotten their real responsibility.
We got another caller,
They get
Willie.
caught up in that whole thing, and the money never trickles down. The help never trickles down, and we are in the situation that we're in.
All right, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. We're having a lively discussion today. What say you?
Love the show, but you guys are just, I mean, come on. I mean, first of all, I'm obviously Caucasian by my voice. You can
Yes.
probably tell it.
Yes.
What is the problem? The black community. I'm in construction. I've seen more brothers employed now than in the last 5 years with Donald Trump. So what is the problem with Donald Trump that you have? He doesn't give a.
Excuse me.
If you're blue, green,
What
whatever,
are you
he's a
talking about?
worker.
What in the
Okay?
heck? Respectfully, sir,
We haven't
we haven't
mentioned Donald
mentioned
Trump
the
today.
T word all day long. It's been one of my best days ever.
And that may be a problem with you being a white liberal, in that y'all see Donald Trump everywhere. Donald Trump is not hiring locally.
And we've not said one thing pro or con about the President of the United States today. I don't know what show you call, man, but you called the wrong. You called the wrong show.
Yeah.
Can we move on so we can have some really good conversation, because this is stupid.
But see, he may have meant that, but I'm gonna clean it up a little bit because it's the Porch Talk Radio show, and we want you to call back, and half our audience is probably white, but that's why we want
I want you to
folks
stop drinking and then call back.
But that's why we warn folks that we're not politically correct. They probably have had 5 politically correct black, liberal shows before this one. When we come on, we the Republicans, we the elephants, and we give you a different kind of show. So what you get here is different from what you would have received all morning. But again, it's the other side. So we want people to be well informed. You make the decision that you're gonna make, but we make sure you got the right information. You're not just singing to the same choir and everybody reading from the same sheet of music. These folks here are a little different, and my sister Connie is probably one of the best representatives the black community of Tampa and Hillsborough has ever had, because she's one of the few that speaks up no matter where, no matter when, and that makes a difference. Again, if you bought and you paid for, which is what everybody's talking about, David Stroud, well, the fact of the matter is I support him because I don't like the other folks, and they've had chances to make me like them, and they just did bad things to my people. And that I don't forgive them for, because they literally beat a man to death in the street. It's hard for me to forgive somebody for that. I'm just telling you about me.
Well, whoever will win that contest of who will be the mayor will have the great responsibility of electing, a variety of chain of people, and the police department being one of them. And throughout this nation, people are making a real demand for criminal justice
Yes,
reform.
they are. Yeah.
It ain't something that we're just making up. There's a need. We make up 26% of
26%
of the population.
Yeah, in here.
But inside the prison population is 52 or more.
It's 60-something, 70-something%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got to change that paradigm. We
Right.
cannot afford to pass this on to the next generation.
No, we can't.
It is our responsibility. I know it's mine.
Yeah.
To make sure that even when I'm not invited to any of those tables, I don't have a chair there. But my responsibility is to be in the community, chipping, educating, moving the community forward,
right, that's
helping the community understand how to make the real demand. And whomever will be the mayor, we're not going to go anywhere.
Nope.
We're going to keep on making the demand that's going to change the condition and the contents of the lives of the people in which we represent.
And since I know better, I'm going to tell you what I do. If I got an issue, if I got a problem, and I have to do a campaign, I go sit down with 4 county commissioners, and I get their issues, I keep going till I get 4, Because the rule of the way government works is you need 4 county commissioners, you need 4 people on city council, you need 4 school board members. So again, you have to understand that if you get 4 of them, you can do what the hell you want. With whatever your establishment is, because 4 votes up there, it comes on the agenda, 4 people vote on it, and guess what? Next thing you know, it's happening. And again, you just got to have the will to go and take the time and energy and put into making a change. I made changes on city council, I made changes in the county, and most of those changes were about making sure that black folks had access and equal opportunity when it came to certain things.
I'm voting the interest that's going to best serve our community. And I'm just going to take off what you just said.
Yeah.
We was dealing with the issue of Chinese drywall inside the community.
Right.
We went to that one on city council. We went to that one on county commission. It looked like me, thinking that that would spark interest and they would move it along. I had to go to Ken Hagan.
Yep.
You know what he did? He made it happen.
See?
And so partisanship is out the window for me.
Right.
Who's going to serve the interests of our community is where I'm going to be on board.
Right.
That's where I'm going to be on board. And that's where our community got to be moving toward 2020 and henceforth that we just can't be caught up. And all of those people that have and I'm so glad they listed themselves in the Florida Sentinel.
Right.
And so the community has a copy of that as well.
That's right.
And so when we need service based on who will be the mayor, we should be able to call on those people or eliminate them out of our thoughts.
That's right.
In terms of them representing our interests.
All right, we got a caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Caller, what say you this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon. I wanted to say that Donald Trump is doing something about the Chinese drywall. That's one of the things he's talking to the Chinese about.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, y'all have all been covered.
Okay, we're gonna do on this day, and then
Really? We're gonna do it on this day?
If we got another caller,
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll see y'all.
On this day in history, because
write this down,
that's what one of the calls I got. There are some people who actually like that. Again, I know
Happy hour starts about our showtime.
I know Willie don't like it, but there are people who actually listen to that. So on this day, April the 20th, 1940, the first electronic microscope was demonstrated by RCA. I know Willie's having fun. On this day, 1961, FM stereo broadcasting was approved by the FCC. See, a lot of folks don't know the day's birth of FM radio, FM stereo. And just think about this one. On this day in 1962, I know we got 5 minutes, the New Orleans Citizens Council offered a free one-way ride for black folks to move to the northern states. In other words, they're going to pay for you to get the hell out of New Orleans. See, so all you have to do is black and say, I want to go somewhere north, and we'll pay for you. That actually happened in this country.
Well, it's happening in these neighborhoods now.
Today.
Yeah, happening
So
in West Tampa.
if they don't want you in specific neighborhoods, you got to pack and you got to go.
You got to go.
And that's what we want to stop.
Okay, in 1971, on this day, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the use of busing to achieve racial desegregation in schools. And on this day, the U.S. Treasury Department announced a plan for Harriet Tubman to be placed to replace Andrew Jackson as the portrait on the $20 bill, and that was in 2016. All right, Colin, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. What say you this afternoon? We got a couple of minutes on the show. What say you? Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Hey.
I'm Alice.
Hey.
And I want to agree with Miss Connie a lot of things, but we're forgetting. We need to go back and re-educate our neighborhoods. I've gone to a number of community meetings and when we barely show up. We need to start educating our neighborhoods so we would be able to go out rather than just waiting on a riot and we all get together. And as she said about the churches, we need to have our churches educate, talk to our people, and encourage. I understand there's a certain guideline that churches don't have to go through. But there also, when you were talking about adults, well, not adults, people with money, I just spoke to someone in South Tampa during the while the election being out. A gentleman came up and said he was on the board, and he named the name of the people who were on the board for training, and he asked people to bring people in, and they don't. So we need to get our top people to start, rather than just being on the board. And there's a number of other programs that I found out by working with the election that we're in charge of, and we're not letting the people outside know who really needs the information to go to school, get their GED, and learn a trade. But again, we need to educate our neighbors because they have no clue about the people that they can go to. You all know because you're out there, but you need to come into the neighborhood, the churches, and let them know what they can do rather than advertising what's going on about who shot who. That's important. I'm not saying it's not, but we need to educate our people as their rights and what they can do and start making community meetings in the neighborhood so they would know, not some raggedy sign advertising your program, so we can turn out something to spark us to get out and start helping our community. Because we're leaving it. Everybody's right, but we got to start educating our people first in order for them to attend the meetings.
All right, thank you very much. Last caller. Let's see if we get you in. Come on, caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio.
Yes, thank you. My concern is just what the lady said before me. We really need a correlation, some type of form to where the community can get together and deal with the churches. There's a lot of homeless, there's a lot of hungry, there's a lot of uneducated, and we don't have the resources in the community that will get together that we can put ourselves.
You know, let me just say this. We would be kidding ourselves to think that the church and the pastors don't know. They do know.
We need more action out of it.
And what we have to do, in my opinion, is organize
There you
inside
go.
of our own circles. And maybe the church will come along. But right now,
We call them out.
we will be wasting our time to try to, spend time trying to educate them to make them do what's right. Those sisters that just called, we need to hook up. We need to
That's
get
true.
together. We need to get
Why not meet in
organized.
some churches? They got lots of space.
Well, if we can't meet up under the tree. We meet in the park.
Right.
We meet up
Wherever.
wherever we
Yeah,
can
get together.
to organize an
You
agenda
got-
that's
everybody
going
need
to
to
move
be
us
talking.
forward. That's what I'm about.
Coming together.
Well,
Don't
we
give the churches
did
a
this
pass.
last year. We had some issues, some career fairs and some other stuff we were doing and tried to do the Black Bank. This program, Porch Talk Radio, will get in a place to where we'll organize the community. We'll start having meetings to tell you how to go talk to the county commission, how to talk, in front of people. I think that's what we need to do. So we will work on this, and we will let you know in the next
Be the brain
month or
trust.
two, the community meetings will come together, and we'll start organizing, no matter who's mayor. Us here at Porch
That's-
Talk Radio,
that's the way to do it
and,
right
and the
there. Now
community
you're
gonna
talking.
start organizing.
We don't care
and
about these
having a black
politicians.
agenda don't do you no good if it ain't got no teeth. So let's give it some teeth.
People with action.
Black agenda. Welcome to the new. Like I said, we got some new Negro. Welcome to the new Tampa Bay. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you, hear you again next week. Thank you.
God bless.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Serving Tampa Bay since 1954. The Heritage Station. WTMP. Egypt Lake, Tampa, Clearwater.